In this corner, 54 years old and fit as a fiddle, Joe Rogan. And in this corner, 36 years old and as filled as a jelly donut, Klein. But when the dust settles at the end of the day, aren't they both on the same team? Welcome back to High Impact Flicks. Let's roll the intro, shall we? Hey guys, study after study shows that if you want strong bones and muscles, healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails, you need the 5 types of collagen in your diet. I get mine from BioTrust. I've got a link in the description with a massive discount, and it'll tell you all about it. Now turning to the Klein / Joe Rogan debacle of yesterday. Apparently Klein wanted to come out against Joe Rogan. Klein is 36, Joe Rogan is 54. They're talking about bodily comparisons. Here's Klein right here in all of his fitness glory. And you have Joe Rogan right here, who's 54. Klein is 36. And Klein says something like, Joe Rogan, who lives on elk meat, egg yolk, and human growth hormone with lungs full of tar, thinks he's healthier than everyone. I've never heard Joe Rogan say, I think I'm healthier than everyone. This MFer is such a biatch that when he got convids, he threw the kitchen sink at it. I don't like Klein. I'm not on board with the ideology of Klein. I'm not checked into the Joe Rogan cult of personality or the Klein cult of personality, but I can see that, hey, we called this out when Joe Rogan first said he threw the kitchen sink at it. Ivermectin, I got monoclonal antibodies, I had this cocktail of all this kind of stuff, and I recovered. Paid thousands of dollars for it. That's a little strange to me. He said, if you're so healthy, just write it out like you say a man should. And then he said, not to mention whatever the F is in alpha brain. I don't know what that is. But there's a couple other quotes that I wanted to kind of address here. He says, this is Klein still, dude has caused so much VAXX hesitancy and misinformation, and he doesn't even have the balls to stand by the shit he preaches. Now he's on his show talking about how fat people should just die of convids. Dude is such a effing piece of shit. What Joe Rogan was saying is, dude, if you're out of shape, if you're not exercising, if you're eating like crap, don't expect to be around for a long time. That is not telling somebody what they should be doing. That's not fat shaming. That's just reality. That's just facts. That's just the truth. But of course, as we've said, truth is the new hate speech and truth is the first casualty in any war. It's the truth. If you are overweight, if you're obese or morbidly obese, you've set yourself up for some serious health issues in the days, weeks, and years to come. Instead of getting VAXX, he takes Regeneron, an experimental drug that was developed alongside mRNA VAXXs. His logic makes no sense, and then credits ivermectin, which does effing nothing for convids 1984. First of all, both of these, let me just say that there's something similar. There's something overarchingly similar with Klein and Joe Rogan, and that is they both acknowledge the existence of what some people would describe as koof. So they both acknowledge the existence. That's questionable in and of itself. That's something I got a serious issue with both of these dudes. So as they banter back and forth, they are in the same boat with regard to their viewpoint of the existence of what some would call, not me, of course. No. You won't catch me calling it Con Job 1984 by George Orwell. So they actually give some kind of assent and validity to the Con Job 1984 by George Orwell. Both of them, even though it looks like they're against each other, even though it looks like they're squabbling amongst each other about something very substantial, on the fundamental, on the essentials, they are like this, man. But he makes a good point. Hey, Joe, why are you taking monoclonal antibodies? Why are you saying you're against the big farm guy, but you run to the big farm guy who produces these things that you claim got you out of hot water with regard to what some call Con Job 1984 by George Orwell? Not to mention whatever the F is alpha brain. Meanwhile, while Joe is on a big pharma conspiracy against VAXXs,
Someone needs to ask him who makes ivermectin and Regeneron and all the other shit he took when he had, you know what? I agree with that. I totally agree with that. If you're going to say you're against the big farm guy, but you're actually endorsing and advertising for the big farm guy, which Joe Rogan did do. I threw the kitchen sink at it. Here's what I did. Monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pack. Come on, man. Which one is it? Which one is it? And then you get Robert Malone on here. Trish and I watched the 3-hour Robert Malone, what was it, podcast number 1757 last night. And I got to tell you, there's some serious issues I got with this podcast, and I've heard nothing but rave reviews from our side about how Robert Malone, he's on our side. He's against the big pharmaceutical companies. He's against mainstream media. And yes, there was language that lent itself to the understanding that he was against it. But out the other side of his neck, he was saying something completely different. For example, he also claims that there's such a thing as the con job 1984 by George Orwell. What's up with that? He actually claims that he got the coof, and then he got double stab wounded, and then he got the coof again, and he said he became severely sick. So he's actually saying he got it. So I got a question for you, Dr. Malone. What was the indicator that showed you conclusively that you actually have what mainstream media and big pharma and government is trying to tell us exists and scare the crap out of us over? Can you tell me that? Was it the PCR test? Was it an antibody test? I mean, how exactly did you know you had, you know what? That's the first question. He works by his own admission, he works for a division of the NIH, and he was quick to say not the division of the NIH that funded the gain of function in Wuhan, China, but he is a part of the division of the NIH. He says that he has strong ties with the CIA. These are all red flags, guys. Red flags that when people were suggesting that hey, this is awesome, this is a great thing, greatest thing since sliced bread, Brian, you got to sit down and watch this entire 3 hours. This is the best Joe Rogan podcast, and no word of criticism. When I heard he knows a lot of people inside in the CIA and that he is a part of a division of the NIH, red flags. I got the coof, and then I got double stab wounded, and I got the coof again. Red flags. Both Rogan and Malone promoted testing. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know this, did you know that if you want to appear on the Joe Rogan podcast, you have to submit to a big pharma test? If you don't get tested, you don't appear on the podcast. What is that a promotion of? Until you bow down at the altar of the big farm guy and get one of their tests administered by who knows who, and who knows what it's doing to you. I don't know. I don't know if it does anything bad to you or not. I'm not here to say that. But the bottom line is, for Joe Rogan and Malone to be so against the big farm guy, they sure are pushing their products. They sure are pushing a way of life that lends itself to bowing down to the altar of the big farm guy. Those are just 4 red flags out of a lot of stuff. Me and Trish are going to sit down and go through it with a fine-tooth comb tonight. I made the comment on Twitter early today that I didn't see when he said he got double stab wounded. I didn't hear the company that he got stab wounded by, and Spiro said, I think he said Moderna. I missed that. So we're going to go over it with a fine tooth comb. I'm going to make a bunch of notes, and because the demand is high and people are like, hey, I want to know what what are you seeing? I'm going to go ahead and make probably a separate video and put it up on Rockfin, Odyssey, and BitChute. So if you're not subscribed to me on all 3 of those places, because you never know what's going to go down, who's going to be taken down. Rockfin, BitChute, and Odyssey is where that will appear, and I'll let you know when that's released on this outlet. I'll let you know on YouTube. I'll let you know on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, these are all just backups to try to funnel any audience that I have over to some more censor-free platforms. My point here with the Ethan Klein and Joe Rogan thing is that fundamentally, when you boil everything down and when you just let the dust settle, Ethan Klein and Joe Rogan are basically on the same train. They're floating in the same boat. They're promoting the same fear porn agenda. And that is that there's a con job 1984 by George Orwell afoot, and that there's such a thing as. Now, whether you believe there is such a thing as or not, there have been studies, government studies, one in San Francisco, claiming that they were unable to get clearly infected people to infect other people through transfer of saliva, other bodily fluids, hugging, coughing on the people. They could not do it. They couldn't get one infected person to infect other people. And there have been multiple tests on doing that. So no matter what side of the fence you land on, Rogan, Malone, even Peter McCullough and Ethan Klein here are all promoting the idea of Con Job 1984, and you just gotta be honest with that. That is what it is. And then they say, and don't get me wrong, when Malone was on Rogan, when McCullough was on Rogan, there was some really, really good information that came out. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of people are like, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, okay, but what if the baby's a demon? The devil will tell you 100 truths just to get you to believe one cotton picking lie. And what is the overarching lie here? What is the thing that's causing fear in everybody? The so-called existence of the Con Job 1984. It's there. Just take our word for it. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.